How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to do a review of the OSP tire claw. It doesn't actually say OSP anymore on the boxes, but it is advertised on eBay as OSP tire claw 1500 watt pure sine wave inverter. So in this video and the title of it, I'm going to say OSP because that actually takes you to the place that sells it. I've owned this thing for quite a while. This is actually my extra one I bought. I like the other one so much that I bought an extra one. But I never actually did a good review on the thing, and the one that I'm using is on, well, the latter half of the second solar season, basically when I'm able to actually use the thing. But here it is installed in my setup here. Now this one here has been running for 4 months straight. Hasn't been turned off, other than the fact that once I got overloaded because my cousin made a homemade extension cord, and rather than taking an ohm meter to it and testing it, I plugged it in and it had a short and it overloaded the machine, shut it down, which is good, that it does shut down, it doesn't just blow up. Just in the past I put this I don't know, I just figure I'm going to tell you guys about some of the things I do with it, but give you an idea of what kind of machine it is. But I just put this kilowatt meter on here 14 days ago, and I'm almost to 8 kilowatts of usage. This is a garage that I come out to on the weekends, pretty much only. Maybe if I take a day off work or something, I'll be out here. But that's pretty much most of my usage is the days that I come out. And then there's also lights outside that come on for 6 or 7 hours a night. I tried to turn off most of the loads to this thing so the fans wouldn't be annoying the video, but well, there is lights in this room on. It is connected to, see what we got, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, I wouldn't even count that, call it, say 12 batteries. Most of which is all deep cycle except for that one and that one. They're just on there to kind of maintain it. Just kind of give you an idea of what the setup is and what it's hooked to. There is 6 100 watt panels on the roof, and I do have it hooked to 3 panels to this charge controller, 3 panels to this one, and I'm not having any problems with conflict with those. They seem to be stackable. Basically, if one's like a half a volt difference readout, then one will, the other one will just go to sleep, and the other one will kind of go to float when you get to the situation where it needs to be floating. Alright, so things that I do with this. It runs all the lights in the garage. Runs a stereo. Charges these batteries. Runs a microwave. And one of the things that I would like to mention about it, and one of the tests that this makes this review a little different than, say, a guy named Nolinar, I think it's Nolinar 24, I think that's his name. And there's Xboxer, I think his is 1985, Xboxer 1985. They both did some reviews on these machines and loaded, and Nolinar loaded it down, put a sine wave or oscilloscope on it, see what the sine wave was like. The box says 2 or 3% distortion, where Nolinar kind of tested around 5. Xboxer kind of noticed and also kind of gave you an idea of how much, through little things that he was doing, how much RF comes off the thing, and it does emit quite a bit of RF. You can actually take a little calculator and hold it up to it and it'll turn it on. So it does emit quite a bit of RF. But in this video, what I'm going to do differently is we're going to stack up inductive loads on it. And one of the biggest things that I found with inverters is that, I've seen, like, Nolinar, he'll test and he'll do a lot of resistive load tests. And he will do some inductive load tests, but just usually like a single item, like a window air conditioner or a big shop vac or a circular saw. But one of the biggest things that guys want to do with these is they want to hook it to their solar setup, and they want to use like energy efficient stuff like CFL bulbs and LED bulbs. CFL bulbs are quite a bit inductive. LEDs are inductive load, but not near as much as a CFL. Most guys are switching out to LEDs now that they actually got the standard to those at a point to where they're actually halfway decent and reasonably priced. But one of the problems that I've had with other inverters is that when you go and turn on rows of lights, you know, like we got up here, some inverters are so picky that you couldn't get more than 6 of those lit. And then there's other ones that I can get, you know, I was able to get most of the garage lit up. And sure in the heck wasn't going to do something like running those fans. So anyways, what got me first to this inverter was actually, well, I'll go show it to you. First thing I came to was this Sine 2000 watt modified sine wave inverter, which is basically a relation to the OSP tire claw. It's essentially the same unit. Build quality inside is about the same, which isn't, I gotta say that tire claw inverter, it doesn't have the best construction inside. It's kind of a, when you open it up, it looks like 1985 inside, which in some ways is good because it's easily repairable, but at the same time, it's a little on the low tech side, and it's a little sloppy on how it's, I don't know, kind of hard to describe. But anyways, when I first came across one of these, hooked it up, I had no trouble at all running multiple lights. It would run as many lights as you wanted to put on it. And then Nolinar and Xboxer got that OSP tire claw, and I seen that it was like this, and I went ahead and bought one, and it's the same way. You can keep adding how many lights you want to it, and that has been what sold me to that unit. I've had one of them, not Xantrex, but Eliminator inverters. It didn't like stacks of lights on it. I can't even mention all of them. I don't really remember all of them, but this one was the first one I came to that could run all the lights and then even go and turn on a grinder. And then the OSP does the same job. Anyway, I'm going to show you guys a little bit of examples of what I can do. Alright, this one's one that I do all the time. Matter of fact, let me add something that is usually on. I don't know if you see it in the picture, in the video, but the lights did flicker. The power regulation on that machine isn't the best. But I gotta say, if I have this at my house, and any light that is on the same breaker as that what one of these is, the lights flicker. So it's not really any different than what it would be, you know, at your house. This right here flickers the lights at home. But anyways, we got all the lights in the ceilings on in this garage. And I often do this. I go in here and warm up my coffee. This sucker right here is 700 watt, but it actually uses about 1050 to 1100. So we got probably about 150 to 200 watts worth of lights, because those LEDs in there are 100 watt equivalents. Runs it. Does just fine. In some of the Nolinar tests, he did notice that there was it went down to about 108 volts when running, when it was approaching its peak. Pretty much that machine that OSP tire claw, it cruises around 1200. It can do 1200 and not really have too much voltage drop. It will if you load it up with 1500 watts, you know, say heaters or whatever that you know, is the equivalent to 1500 watts. It'll do like 14, you know, the output of what that thing can do is like 1400. So you don't actually get the performance out of the, you know, you don't get 1500 watts out of it. It will accept the fact that if you put 1500 watts worth of equipment on it, it will run it. It just won't be up to speed, put it that way. Alright, so stacking up the inductive loads. Okay, we got all the lights lit up in here, and when I was painting my car, this is the exact situation that was going on in here. All these lights are lit right here. And then I had, these are LED shop lights. Each one is 35 watts. There's 4 of them right there. I had them positioned around the car, several different locations. And there is 6 of these box fans in the ceiling. 6 of them. There's 3 here and 3 on the other side of this door. So we got inductive loads like crap stacked up on this thing. Well, watch. I'll turn on the fans. There was a little bit of flicker in the lights. So inductive loads running right now. We have 10 lights up there, 4 down on the floor. That stereo and 6 box fans on high. What kind of wattage we got going here. I don't have the lights on in this room right here, but we're at 713 with all the inductive loads that I just had mentioned. That's awesome. I have never seen, other than the Syntec one, I've never seen any inverter that I've owned run inductive loads like that thing does. Alright, so all the fans and the lights that was just on is still running. I turned on these 4 LED bulbs. So we are stacking up some more on there. We're at 750 watts. And also my solar setup, batteries, cable wise, we are at 12.5 volts at 750 watts. Alright, right now all the lights are lit. And same, you know, all of them strip or shop lights are lit still. I did turn off the big old box fan. I mean, you got to think that this thing does have its limits, you know. But here we got nice size inductive load startup. This thing doesn't draw too much running, but starting it up. Just fine. Alright, since owning this thing, I have these right here go up to, they count how much amp hours come in, but they only go up to 10,000. I have lapped these things 3 times on this machine, so I've brought in 30,000 amp hours while using this. Now you gotta keep in mind that I do have a 12 volt filter cooler that I plug in, and you can see here it goes. Just don't have anything to do anything. It goes to the other room, and I plug in my Peltier cooler when I come in. So I have like a little refrigerator to keep popping things in. So some of the, you know, what it is added up on these meters isn't what this thing used altogether. But from now on, I am going to keep this on here and try to figure out, you know, what I use in a season. You know, that way at the end of the season I can, you know, figure what I've used, and pretty much it's coming out to about, I come out here on the weekend, I use about 1 kilowatt a day while I'm here. But I think this sums up a pretty good review on this thing, is what it can do. When I was running that microwave and those lights, it was probably somewhere around 12 or 1300 watts. I know what that microwave uses. It's kind of hard to show you guys anything on that meter, you know, but that's what it was at 12 or 1300, and that's pretty much what this machine is. Good for about 80% of this 1500 watt. What really gives this machine its edge is price. It was 200 bucks delivered to my door, and the fact that it can run all them inductive loads. I mean, it's, dude, a lot of these guys will get these inverters, and then all they're doing is just running 1 or 2 things at a time. Or say use it on their, even their truck, like just to run power tools. It's only got to deal with 1 power tool, you know. And here it has to run all the lights and things, and that was just I spent hundreds of dollars buying inverters that would not work on the lights. There is one thing I'd like to mention about this thing that is kind of weird, and I've even found it in a review. I was looking just one night, I was bored and going through the reviews of one of these on Amazon or eBay, and it say that you're running it at like 50 watts, like you got about 50 watts worth of load on it. somewhere between 50 and 100 watts, some brands of LED lights flicker. And I even hooked my kilowatt meter up, just plugged it into the wall and put it on hertz. And while I caught it one time flickering the lights, it said 60 hertz. I don't know what was going on with them bulbs. Basically what it is all the bulbs I bought, well, those are Sylvanias now. Started off at 60 watt LEDs from, not 60 watt, but they're 60 watt equivalent, Walmart brand. And then I went and got some from the Dollar Tree. And I plugged them in. I think they used like 9 watts, while these are like 7.5. And they was brighter. They was that much more brighter, so you really wasn't like losing efficiency because they was a brighter bulb. But I thought, well, I'll switch these out because there isn't quite enough in this room to the Dollar Tree, a little bit brighter bulbs. And some reason there was some kind of reaction between them and the inverter, and they flickered. And then I went and got these Sylvania 100 watt equivalent ones. Stuck those in, and I don't have any trouble with the Walmart brand. It was just them Dollar Tree bulbs. So if you do have a flickering issue, just try changing brand of bulbs. I don't know what it is. I can't detect it with that kilowatt meter. Maybe if you had an oscilloscope. But then, okay, I like to mention is that once you went, say, over 100 watts, like I turned on that receiver, or say like it was on a commercial, then the lights would flicker, and then when it go back to playing music, the lights will quit flickering because you went over that little edge of wattage. So there is something funny with some CF or LED bulbs. But that pretty much sums up my review of this. I recommend this machine. It's a great machine, but it is limited to about 1200 watts. Like I said, you can't load up 1500 on it, but it's just the machine's struggling with it. And from what I've been watching other people, most inverters are good for about 80% of what they put on there. Some have better startup capabilities. This is one of them. Nolanar's test, he was clear up to like 300 and something amps of draw on the input side of it. So I mean, or more than that maybe. I can't remember exactly what he got up to, but it was insane. It was able to start up some amazing things. Pretty much almost to the running wattage of what the machine can do. You know, heavy loads that would use a lot of wattage running, let alone starting them up. But that's about all I got for this review. I'll catch you guys later.